In today's gospel, what we have is the famous parable of the prodigal son. But even before that, there are two other parables that are not in this particular reading, but are there within Luke chapter 15 that are important as well. So Jesus is there. The tax collectors and sinners are coming to him. The Pharisees and the scribes are appalled that he is welcoming sinners. So he gives them three parables. He gives them the parable of the lost sheep, that the shepherd goes out in search of this one who was lost. The parable of the lost coin, that the woman sweeps the house, looks everywhere, and when she does, she has a party because she found the coin, probably spending more money on the party than the coin was worth. And then lastly, the prodigal son. The son comes to the father. He wants his money right now. He's impatient. He's all the things of youth. He wants to get out and see the world. So he's tired of the place where he is, and he wants to go. And so he asks him for the share of the inheritance now. He then gets the money. He then squanders the money. So what we see in the prodigal son is very similar to a lot of situations that we have in this world today. You know, all you have to do is look at the paper and see somebody who was a great sports figure from not too long ago, or was a great singer or a great actor, but yet athletes get older, don't have the skill that they once had. The actors may be a whim that people was once popular and now not so popular. Same way with music. Musical genres change, things change. So people who once had a lot of money are now broke because they've spent all their money. They've thought that the lavish lifestyle would continue, and so they find themselves broke. Same way with this prodigal son. He finds himself broke, so he hires himself out to one of the people in the land. They have him go to the pigs to tend the pigs. So basically at the lowest of the low. He wants to eat the pods of the pigs, but he can't have any. He comes to his senses and thinks that, okay, my father has hired workers who have a lot to eat, have enough sufficient for their needs. I'll go back to my father and say, that I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you will, one of your hired servants. And so really, when we think about it, a couple of things. One is that he did come to his senses, because he could have said, well, success is just over that next hill. And, I'm pretty smart and I'm pretty resourceful. So, things have taken a downturn now, but things aren't going to take a downturn forever. So, hey, I'm going to be okay. So everything will be great. So just kind of ride it out right now, just for the immediate. And then in a few months or several months, everything will be better. I can go back over the next hill and find success and money over that next hill. But he does not. He says, let me go back to my father. Let me humble myself and come back to the father. Was his contrition perfect? No, he was kind of weighing it. He was saying, wait a minute, my father, they're doing really pretty well. They have enough food to eat. I'm starving. I'm not doing well at all. So, there was that kind of a weighing. So there was certainly contrition and humility, but there was also that weighing. So he goes back to the father. He's going back. He can kind of think about him rehearsing the lines, Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired workers. Father, I've sinned against you. You can kind of see him rehearsing those lines as he goes along the way. When he comes to the father's house, to his surprise, the father comes running after him, and then says, he makes his speech, but he gets cut off as, treat me as you would one of your hired servants. Because even though he squandered the money, even though he squandered everything, he is still the son. So the father puts the ring on his finger, sandals on his feet, puts the robe on him. And then the elder son who comes back, he's angry because he's been dutiful. He's been responsible, as opposed to the one who's irresponsible. He's the one who's been responsible. So the father comes out to him and he says, look, and that's a great line, look. You know, that that he was the son of yours has done all these things. The son of yours, and he said, and Father kind of turns on him and says, your brother was lost and is now found. So we need to celebrate. So one of the things we think about with the prodigal son is that in a way both of them had the wrong idea of the father. The son, the younger son, thought that he was the one who was the ATM, the big Santa in the sky, the one who would give him what he needed. And so he had a view of God that God is giving me all the benefits and the blessings, and that's it. The younger son is, I can work my way. That God is this father is a cruel taskmaster. I've got to somehow work myself to be acceptable before him, or to be almost equal to him. If I can work hard enough, if I can do enough, I can somehow be equal to him, and then I will deserve everything that I have. I've done all this stuff for you. I demand that you give me this. I demand that you did. How dare you do this to me after all that I've done for you? So again, that idea of God being that employer, that cruel taskmaster, that he has that thought. And so one of the things about it is that the younger son does come back to the father. But one of the interesting things about the gospel is that the older son, is he going to come back? And that's open-ended. And I think the thing is that it is that invitation on the part of the father to see him as he is, that it stop seeing himself as that cruel taskmaster, to come to that understanding of who he is. And so I think all of us during this Lenten season, it's good to think about ourselves. Are we thinking about God as that one who gives that benefits, that big Santa in the sky? Or are we the one who says that I'm going to do all this stuff for God so that I demand that God do this for me? Are we the one who are going to come to the table? Are we the one who have come to our senses, maybe in the past and had a past, but yet come back to the Father? Or again, are we the one who's going to come to that greater understanding of who God is during this Lenten season? And so just like the prodigal son is kind of open-ended, so too it is in our life. Thanks. God bless.